Thinking is useful only until it becomes a hiding place. A man must think before he moves, yes, because blind movement wastes energy, and stupidity, dressed as courage, still remains stupidity. Yet there comes a point where another hour of thinking does not make the decision cleaner. It only protects the ego from the risk of action. That is where the trap begins. The mind keeps asking for more time, more clarity, more research, more preparation, more signs, more certainty, more confidence, and each request sounds reasonable enough to delay the work one more day. Nothing looks like surrender from the inside. It looks like careful planning. It looks like being smart. It looks like waiting for the correct moment. Yet life does not reward the man who thinks forever about the door. It rewards the man who turns the handle, steps through, takes the hit, learns the room, and adjusts while standing inside reality. Action has a brutality that thought will never possess. Thought can lie to you politely. It can build castles without foundations, victories without effort, identities without evidence, and futures without discipline. Doing does not offer that luxury. Once you act, the fantasy must touch the ground. The business idea meets customers. The fitness plan meets the body. The script meets the blank page. The ambition meets the calendar. The confidence meets the first difficult hour. This is why action feels threatening. It removes imagination as a shield. A man can think about becoming disciplined for years and still feel noble because the image remains untouched. The moment he tries to live disciplined, the truth appears. His sleep is weak, his focus is scattered, his appetite is loud, his excuses are well trained. Good. Now he knows where the enemy stands. The mistake is believing that clarity must arrive before movement. Sometimes it does, many times it does not. Clarity often comes after contact. You learn what the path demands by walking part of it. You discover what the market wants by putting an offer in front of people. You understand your body by training it, not by reading another perfect routine. You find your voice by writing badly before writing well. You gain confidence by surviving the early mess, not by waiting until the mess feels comfortable. Thinking gives you a map, but action reveals the terrain. A map can show direction, yet it cannot show the exact mud, resistance, weather, traps, shortcuts, and hidden openings you only discover once your boots are on the ground. The thinker waits for a perfect map. The builder accepts a rough one and begins. A strange weakness forms when thinking becomes disconnected from doing. The mind starts to feel powerful while the life remains unchanged. You can understand discipline without being disciplined. You can understand money without earning more. You can understand health without changing your body. You can understand confidence without taking the risk that would build it. Knowledge begins turning into decoration. Concepts stack up inside the head like trophies from battles never fought. This is why some people sound impressive while living poorly. They have collected language instead of evidence. They can explain the problem, name the pattern, quote the principle, and analyze the cause. Yet their daily behavior still belongs to the old version. A hard truth must be accepted. Insight without execution becomes another form of entertainment. Doing beats thinking because action produces feedback, and feedback is the raw material of improvement. A thought can circle endlessly without becoming sharper. A real attempt returns information. The page tells you whether the writing works. The workout tells you where the body fails. The sales call tells you where the offer is weak. The conversation tells you whether your courage can survive another person's reaction. The first version of anything exposes what the mind could not predict from safety. That exposure is not failure, it is instruction. A man who acts badly can improve quickly because he now has something real to correct. A man who thinks perfectly but never acts has nothing to refine except another theory. The danger of overthinking is that it often wears the mask of intelligence. The brain enjoys complexity because complexity can make avoidance look sophisticated. You tell yourself there are too many variables. You say the timing needs analysis. You convince yourself that another video, another book, another opinion, another plan, another strategy session will finally unlock movement. Sometimes the answer is simpler and more insulting. Start, send the message, open the file, lift the weight, make the offer, publish the first attempt, save the money, cut the habit, have the conversation. The mind hates simple commands because simple commands remove excuses. Complexity gives fear more rooms to hide in. Action turns on the lights.
A powerful man does not worship action blindly. He thinks enough to avoid foolishness, then moves before thought becomes rot. This balance matters. Thinking should sharpen the blade, not replace the strike. Planning should reduce waste, not become a substitute for courage. Reflection should correct action, not delay it forever. The order is simple. Think, do, observe, adjust, repeat. Many lives collapse because the order becomes think, doubt, research, compare, delay, regret. Nothing alive grows inside that cycle. Real growth needs contact with resistance. The body adapts after effort, the mind adapts after pressure, the skill adapts after use, identity adapts after proof. No proof arrives while the whole war remains inside your skull. Look at any serious craft, and the lesson becomes obvious. A fighter does not become dangerous by reading about punches for 10 years. He must throw them. A writer does not become sharp by thinking about sentences. He must write, delete, rewrite, and endure the ugliness of early pages. A businessman does not learn the market by worshipping spreadsheets alone. He must face customers, rejection, pricing, delivery, mistakes, and reality. A disciplined body does not come from studying training philosophies forever. It comes from repeated physical obedience. Thought prepares, action transforms. The gap between those two words is where average lives are built or broken. Preparation feels clean, transformation feels messy. Choose the mess. Doing also attacks fear in a way thinking cannot. Fear grows in imagination because imagination has no limits. The mind can make a small risk feel enormous when the risk remains untouched. It can simulate 10 disasters before breakfast. It can turn one possible rejection into a prophecy of humiliation. Once action begins, fear loses some of its fog because reality becomes specific. The email is sent, the workout is started, the call is made, the first paragraph exists, the first offer receives an answer. Now the monster has a shape. A shaped enemy can be fought. A vague enemy rules the dark. This is why movement matters. It turns fear from a ghost into an object. The man who does things daily becomes harder to deceive. His life keeps giving him evidence. He knows what happens when he trains. He knows what happens when he wastes the morning. He knows what happens when he speaks clearly. He knows what happens when he avoids. He knows what happens when he stays focused for 2 hours. His confidence becomes practical because it comes from repeated contact with outcomes. Overthinking creates a fragile confidence based on imagined ability. Doing creates a harder confidence based on proof. Proof changes posture. Proof changes standards. Proof changes the way a man enters a room because he is no longer negotiating with fantasy. He has receipts from reality. Chan begins by lowering the size of the first action until the excuse loses power. If the mind refuses the full workout, begin with 10 minutes. If the project feels too large, open the document and complete one ugly section. If the business feels overwhelming, create one offer and send it to one real person. When the conversation feels heavy, write the first sentence and deliver it cleanly. The point is not to make smallness a lifestyle. The point is to break the paralysis. A stop machine needs ignition before speed. Once movement begins, momentum can be built. Thinking often waits for momentum before action. A disciplined man understands that action creates momentum. Do not let your mind become a comfortable prison decorated with plans. You already know enough to begin something. Not everything. Something. The next step does not require a perfect version of you. It requires obedience from the current version. Start badly if you must. Start quietly. Start before confidence arrives. Start while the mind is still trying to negotiate. The work will teach you what the thinking could not. The attempt will expose what the fantasy protected. The feedback will shape what the plan could only guess. Doing always beats thinking because life is not changed by conclusions reached in silence. It is changed by actions repeated in reality. Think enough to aim, then move.